Hello everyone, this is Suresh from Azure ADB. Today our topic is how to replace nulls using ISNULL or IFNULL function in SQL Server. So first we'll see what is ISNULL or IFNULL. So if you are working on SQL Server, uh, you have to use ISNULL. So if you are working in MySQL, then you have to use IFNULL. So IFNULL is a MySQL function and it is similar ISNULL function in SQL Server. So currently I'm in Databricks environment. So in Databricks environment, it is supporting IFNULL. So if someone working on SQL Server, you use ISNULL. So whatever code I'm providing in this. So if you are working in SQL Server, you just replace IFNULL with ISNULL. So since based on this Databricks environment, since it is supporting IFNULL, I'm using IFNULL in this particular notebook. So the ISNULL function in SQL Server replaces null values with a specified replacement value. So this mainly used to replace null values with a specified value. So it returns a specified value if expression is null, otherwise it returns expression. So that means we'll see in below example. So in SQL Server, we have available ISNULL and coalesce to replace the null values. In case of MySQL, here it is IFNULL or coalesce. So this is IFNULL and coalesce. And if you see in Oracle, NVL and coalesce. So these are the basic difference. And if you come to syntax, so select IFNULL and you have to mention two parameters. So that is one expression and what is the replacement value. So from table. So or you can use coalesce. So instead of IFNULL, you can use coalesce. So here, since I mentioned earlier, so here I am not using ISNULL because in Databricks Spark SQL, this is not supporting. Okay, so instead of ISNULL, I am using IFNULL. So in syntax, first we need to write ISNULL and we need to mention the expression. So expression means that can be value or column to check for null values. And this replacement value is, so we need to provide the expression or value which is null. Okay, so we'll see with one example. So here what I'm doing, select IFNULL. Okay, so instead of ISNULL, I'm using IFNULL. So this whole notebook I'm explaining with IFNULL. So select IFNULL. So my starting expression is null and my replacement value is database engineer. So what it does is it will give you database engineer. Why? Because what IFNULL does is, see this expression, see it, what it telling, it replaces null values with a specified replacement value. So that means this null value, so this null value, it replacing with database engineer. So we are getting output as database engineer. If you go for other example, so if you see here, select IFNULL and hello database engineer. So here what it giving, hello. So why it returning hello? So if you see our initial syntax, there are two things. One is it will replace null value with specified value. That means if we have null in our expression, it will replace with specified value. Suppose if our expression is don't have null, then otherwise it returns expression itself. See, function used to return a specified value if the expression is null. Otherwise, it returns a expression itself. So in this case, we don't have null here. So our expression is some value is here. So what will happen in this case? It will return expression itself. So it returning hello. So next we'll discuss about with some example. So here I created this particular table, employee table, and I have this many columns here, and I'm pausing this data here. So this I have insert script. So based on this insert script, I'm creating table here, and I have this many columns in this particular table. So on top of this table, what I'm doing is, first I'm trying to do replace null values with the default value. So that means here we have one column, bonus column. So in this bonus column, I'm trying to replace nulls with 0. So here what I given, select, and these are all the columns I required, and on top of that I took bonus column. So what is our syntax? So if null, and here expression is my column, bonus column, and I'm given 0. So that means in bonus column, wherever nulls is there, I want to replace with 0. So first we'll see in this bonus column how many nulls are there. See here, first one, here, here, here. Okay, so these many nulls are there. So now this many, wherever nulls is there, it will replace with 0. And wherever values is there, it will come as it is. So first it will go here. Since null is there, it will replace with 0. See here, it will replace with 0. Next, I will take screenshot. So next it come to second value. So now this first value is over, and next it come to second value 5000. So 5000 comma 0. That means we have value in expression. What it does is it will return same value. Next it will come to 0. So bonus 0 comma 0. So that means in expression we have value. So it returns 0. And a similar way, if you come to 4000, so 4000 expression. So value is there. So it will return same expression. That means 4000. Next, it will come to null. So wherever null is there, it will replace with 0. Okay, so here we have 0. And so on. It will continue like this. And next, what we'll do is replace null with text. So here what I'm doing, so I'm writing this text here. So earlier, so on this particular department column, so wherever null is there, I want to replace with not assigned. So here what I given, our syntax is if null, and my expression is a department column, and I want to replace with not assigned. So first we'll see in department column what is there. So if you see in department column, so we have values here and some empty text is there. And if you come here, here null is there. Here, 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 here. So now what will happen? These nulls, it will replace with not assigned value. So if you come to here, IT sales HR, and here this one. So this not assigned. So here null is there, it replaced with not assigned. And if you see here, wherever not assigned is there, so that places nulls are there. So those nulls it replaced with not assigned. So next we'll see how to take sum or average of any particular column. So for this case, what I'm doing is, so I selected one particular column, that is weight, and here I'm using if null, and if null I'm using on weight column, and wherever I found I'm replacing with null. So this is our weight column, and if you see here, null is there. So this null here is replaced with 100, and here also, if you see here, this nulls is replaced with hundreds, and here also this null is replaced with 100. So wherever null is there, it will replace with 100. So first I'm replacing nulls with 100, and on top of that, what I'm doing is, so I'm doing average. So average on this if null function. See here, up to here we discussed here. So what it already replaced with 100. Okay, wherever null is there, it replaced with 100. And on top of that column, I am taking average. And if you see here, this whole column, it will take average. It will sum up and divide by total number of columns. So that it is giving this average value. And here I am trying to do sum. So what it does is it will add all these values and it giving sum here. Okay, so next I am doing ISNULL. So ISNULL, how you can do in calculation. So here I am doing some calculation like adds salary with bonus. So treating missing bonus as 0. So we already saw in bonus column. So wherever nulls are there, it will replace with 0. See here, these nulls are first it will replace with 0. So for here, what I did is instead of 0, I am replacing with 750. Okay, so first I'm using if null on bonus column and 750. So wherever null is there, it will replace with 750. Then it will add with salary column. So here our salary is there. So what will happen? So this first salary is 5,000 plus if null bonus 750. So since null is there, it will replace with 750. So finally what will happen? 5,750. Okay, so if you come here, 4,500 plus 5,000. So since we don't have here null value, so it will retain default value. So 45,000 plus 5,000. So we are getting 50,000. And here 0 is there, so we'll get 6,000. Here 4,000, 52 plus 4, 56,000. And here null is there. So null it will replace with 750. So 50,000 plus 750, 50,000, 750. Okay, so it will replace like this. So that's all about this video on how to use ISNULL or IFNULL function. So if you really like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.